Hi friends, Happy New Year. I hope you had amazing holidays, enjoyed some delicious food and shared memorable moments with your loved ones. I certainly enjoyed my holidays. In fact, I took 2 months off to have some break from creating content, being active on social media, and really trying to reconnect with myself as well as with my family and friends. So, holidays went really well, and I feel rested and re energized and committed to creating more content and sharing value with you all. With that intention in mind, I'm recording this video and hoping to help you think about what you want to accomplish and what you want to become by the end of 2024. A lot of us have set New Year resolutions, and for many of us, they didn't really work. And some of us actually don't even like the idea of setting goals around the new year and believe that we should be setting goals any time of the year. It doesn't have to be New Year. But there is something about New Year, this time of the year when, for whatever reason, we feel the urge to start over and set goals. Well, this in psychology referred to as the fresh start effect. This is an effect where, because of some kind of a new beginning, we experience this renewed energy and motivation and desire to pursue our goals. In most cases, this fresh start is related to a time-specific milestone, such as a new year, anniversary, a new academic year, or new job, or even a retirement. So I encourage you, even if you don't believe in this idea of new year, to give it a thought, because psychologically and subconsciously we are wired to want to accomplish. And why not use this small phenomenon to your advantage? The goal setting involves 2 steps for me. Step 1 starts with thinking back and reflecting on past years when you have set goals. How did it go? What made it easy to achieve your goals and what made it difficult? What kind of goals were easier for you to accomplish versus what were the goals that were really difficult? There are many reasons why goals fail, and there are a number of studies showcasing why a lot of us fail with goal setting and what are the best strategies to overcome this. Usually goals fail because they are too vague, they're difficult to measure, they're unrealistic, and we don't even know by when we want to accomplish these goals. So here I want to share one of my tools that I use when setting goals. SMART goals. They are not perfect and they're not for everybody. But I think SMART goals provide the basics, the strong foundation for us to set goals and to make sure we are clear in terms of what we want to accomplish and when. Step 2 involves actual goal setting. But to do this, I encourage you to reflect and look at your life holistically. We are complex individuals and we have different needs and priorities. So try to understand what areas of your life matter the most to you at this point in time. So take stock of your life and think in terms of your personal life, your career, areas you want to develop, your finances, and maybe even fun and recreational activities that will add joy and meaning to your life. Take stock of these areas, and I encourage you to think of Pareto rule, like 80-20 rule. Which are 20% of your goals that can lead to 80% of the outcomes that you desire? These might be just 1 or 2 areas in your life that can add the greatest and the most value. Ideally, try to have 1 major goal, maximum 3. When it comes to goal setting, there are many different tools you can try. And I really encourage you to try many different and find what works for you. One thing that really works for me, as I mentioned, are SMART goals. These are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. Let's look at it briefly. Specific means this goal is specific and clear enough so you know exactly what you want to accomplish. In my case, for this year, my overarching big goal is to help one startup of my choice to raise funds. In my case, this is a startup that has a social or environmental cause at its core. The next step in SMART goals is to make sure our goals are measurable. And in my example, as I said, I want to coach one startup and to help them raise funds. This is already kind of measurable, but I can go a step further and dig a bit deeper in terms of what it would require for me to help one startup to raise funds. That might require me to coach 10 startups in order to find one that I really, really want to work with. The next step in SMART goals is to ensure our goals are achievable. This is important because oftentimes we set ambitious and courageous goals, which is great, but we need to make sure that our goals are still feasible. We need to ensure we have the skills, resources necessary to accomplish this goal. In my example of me wanting to coach and help one startup to fundraise, is it an achievable goal? Well, it is a very challenging goal, but I think it is achievable given that I have coached startup founders before. I've delivered trainings on pitching for fundraising purposes, and I'm a great coach. I have the skills necessary to support. And how I will make sure I achieve this goal? Well, I have many different steps in mind, one of which includes meeting more startups, attending more startup events, especially startup pitch competitions, and to get to know more investors and understand better what they are looking for when a startup comes to pitch for their funding. Another step in SMART goals is to make sure our goals are relevant. How does this goal relate to your overall life and all other goals and priorities? In my example, my goal of helping a socially minded entrepreneur to raise funds is linked directly to my overarching purpose of making positive change and positive contribution in this life. The last step when setting goals is to make sure you know exactly by when you want to accomplish this goal. By setting a deadline, you give yourself a realistic and visible time frame by when you have to have accomplished this goal. But be mindful, because when setting a deadline, you don't want to put a deadline that is too short, because that will stress you out and make you nervous. And as a result, you might give up on your goal. But at the same time, you don't want to set a deadline that is too far-fetched in the future, because then you might procrastinate and delay and postpone because there is no urgency or not enough urgency. In my example of wanting to help one startup raise funds, my deadline is November 30th, 2024. That is very far ahead. I wanted to make sure I give myself enough time because this will be my first time helping a startup raise funds. But at the same time, I want to make sure I feel a bit of urgency and I actually stay consistent on my goal. That is why I have mini deadlines, like milestones that I want to hit in the next month, 3 months, 6 months time frame. So if you want to give it a try to SMART goals, I have a little gift for you. I've created a 2-page guide that describes SMART goals, provides examples, and prompts you to set your own SMART goals. You can find this free guide in the description below. And if you need help with setting and committing your SMART goals, set up a call with me so we can work together to make sure you commit to your goals and live the life you aspire to live. You can find the link to my calendar in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions or alternative tools that you use for goal setting. I am always happy to try new approaches. Till next time.